and welcome to Yo Yarn Girl. My name's Lisa and I'm coming to you from the Denver, Colorado area. So welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. For you new viewers, thank you for stopping by, and for those of you returning, thanks for being patient and coming back to my channel. I'm here with episode number 6. I have a couple of finished objects. I have quite a few WIPS, and then I will talk about some dream knitting. It's been a while. I think it's been probably almost a month and a half since I did my last episode, and that's just all about life happening. The summer was a lot busier than what I thought. I think I shared on my last podcast that I had good news was I got a promotion on my job, but it's been really, really busy this summer, and did a little bit of traveling with my family. But other than that, I've just been really busy with work, and every time I'm, try to get a podcast in, it just wasn't possible. But I'm back, and hoping to have a more regular schedule going into the fall, because I have a lot of knitting that I want to share and do. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start with some socks. These actually were a languishing WIP that I had, and I finally finished the second sock. So these are the morning coffee socks, and that is by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. And this yarn was yarn that I had in my stash for some time. These actually, I think I shared before, were started when I was still living in Florida, and I put them down and just really didn't go back to socks. And then I finally went back to sock knitting, and I picked this up not too long ago, and I finished up the second sock. Love the way they fit, like the pattern, and the yarn is great. This is I got this yarn off of a shop on Etsy, and when I bought it, it was a different name, and I'm not even quite sure what the name was, but I know today they go by Dietastic, and they don't even make this color of yarn anymore. So, but they are still out there as a dyer under the name of Dietastic on Etsy. And I do go back often and just visit the shop just to see what they have. But really, really like these. And yeah, hope to be wearing these soon. So it's been such a hot summer, but I think fall it's steady approaching. And we've had just a couple of cool days here. Nights are kind of a little bit cooler, but not ready yet for full-on socks. So, but that is my first finished object. So my second finished object is another pair of socks. No surprise there. These are on my Yo Yarn Girl sock blockers that I had made from a shop on Etsy. I'll link all that below. And I've got notes here. So these socks are my library socks, and these were actually for Christmas in July. I knit these up on a Facebook group that I think it's What the Heel Facebook group, and I knit these for Christmas in July. The yarn is a Ruby and Roses yarn colorway on her soft rose base. I love, love, love her yarn. And this was actually a sock set that I got last Christmas for one of Nitty Natty's cows. And it was, the colorway is Christmas or Castle by Day. So it was kind of a Disney theme that Nitty Natty had for her last year's Sockmas. It's called Sockmas. It's a Sockmas cow. And Castle by Day, there was another designer that I think had a sock set that was Castle by Night. And I ended up going with the Ruby and Roses Castle by Day, and love this color. I actually have quite a bit left, so I'm planning on making, there's a pattern out there that quite a few people are making now. It's called the Journey Socks. It's really just a sock to put on to come. It's a lot of people are wearing it with their Converse, things like that, but it's just a slip-on sock. It's less than just a shorty. So, but I am thinking about making that, and I'll insert maybe a picture of that pattern. But again, really, really like these. I think that they came out really, really well. This mini here, the mauve color mini, came with the sock set, and then there was a plain white. I wanted to put the red just to make it a little more Christmassy, and this red is actually a mini that I got with one of my monthly subscriptions from A Girl in Her Wool. So I just pulled it from one of those and I used it for my heels and the one stripe in the socks. But really, really like the way those came out. So I think that is it for my finished objects, and I will go into some works in progress, WIPS. And for that, I have my first sock, which again is for, I'm doing the summer sock camp with Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. Haven't really, because of how busy things have been, I have not really had an opportunity to get a lot of socks completed, but I'm working on it, and I'm hoping by the end of the month I will have at least another 2 pair completed. But this was the start of another pair, and this is actually the Crazy Sock Lady's pattern. It's called Rhinebeck Roomies. It's just a cute little pattern. You do, it's a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to give a ton of stuff away, but it is a cute pattern. And it's I want to say it's a 4-row repeat, but easy to memorize. So I will sit out on the back porch with hubby sometimes after he comes in from work, and we will, you know, sit there. I will knit and just kind of talk, because the pattern is easy. It's an easy pattern to memorize. So the yarn that I'm using for this one is Happy Mermaid, and this was actually made for Summer Sock Camp for 2021, and so this was their color for 2021 Summer Sock Camp. So I decided, I hadn't used it last year, that I would break that out and I would use that. So really, really enjoying that, and hope to get those finished by the end of August, so the end of the month. So another whip that I have is going to be another pair of socks, and these socks I actually started for Sock Week, which is a cow that Nitty Natty runs every year, and it usually runs during Shark Week. So it's a play on Shark Week. It's called Sock Week, and she has dyers and bag makers and all that are part of that sponsor that with her. So this was my sock for Sock Week, and this was from Yarn Over New York. This was the colorway that they did for the Sock Week cow, and I'm trying to think of the color. I'll link it, because I blanked on the color for this one. But this is this is Petty Harbor. These are the Petty Harbor socks. And again, this is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's because I have it. So this is, again, it's a 4-row repeat, super easy to memorize, but it was basically you're knitting a sock in 7 days, and she breaks it down on how you can get through that, on, you know, her version of how you can get through that. I did modify the toe on this sock, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, because I didn't put enough rounds in the foot. For this pattern, I use my same rounds that I normally would use, but for whatever reason, this one came out a little bit shorter. So I was trying to make up some rows in the toe, and you just can't do that with this type of toe that I used. I used the toe from the Get Shorty socks from one of the podcasters on 3-Ply Podcast. I think it's Irene. She has some sock patterns out there, and I did a test knit for her on the Get Shorty socks, and this is the toe from that. I do like the toe. I just, like I said, I should have knitted my foot a little bit longer. So I have started the second one. I did finish this in the week's time, so that was done. I've started the second one, and these are also going to be for, you know, I'm knitting them along with Summer Sock Camp. So I hope to have these done by the end of August 31st, when Summer Sock Camp ends. But again, those are my Petty Harbor socks. And I don't see I think it's Shireen X. No, that's the photographer. I'll link everything below on this pattern, but it's again a really easy pattern to memorize, and just simple, but it gives you just a little bit of texture, which I like on my socks. Don't mind a plain vanilla sock, but I do sometimes like a little bit of texture. So it gives me a little bit of texture, and got that done. So my next work in progress is something that I have been working on. It's a cowl that I'm following with Expression Fiber Arts, and it's called Perseverance. It's a blanket by Jane Vancilos, I believe, Vancilios. But it's a year-long knit along, and basically each month you get the clue, or you get the pattern for that month. You get the stitch pattern for that month, and you're just kind of stitching along. It's a worsted weight blanket, and I opted, obviously it's with Expression Fiber Arts, so you can order the yarn off their website. I had some yarn in stash that was worsted weight, so I opted to use that. And then I did order some more yarn, and because I wanted to keep it kind of the same worsted weight texture, the yarn I have is a yarn from a chick that knits. It's called New Beginnings. So here is what I have done so far, and I'm behind, so I'm not anywhere close to the 7. I think we're in 7 is the clue that we're on now, but I'm not on 7, so I'm still on, I think, clue 3. But that's her colorway, is a chick that knits. It's called a New Beginnings. And then the green color is a color, it's a worsted weight by Lolo Did It. And I used this in a hat that I did, and I'll link the color below because I don't have the color, I don't have the label anymore, so I'm gonna have to find that color. But I ordered some more worsted weight from a chick that knits, so I'm hoping, it just shipped yesterday, so I'm hoping to have that probably by the weekend, maybe early next week, which is fine because I won't be done with the green color probably until then anyways. So that goes for a whole, they're kind of like in wedges, and so that will be the next wedge, and I'll be ready for the colors that I have coming in. I ordered 2 different skeins of worsted weight yarn from a chick that knits to go ahead and continue on this blanket. But I'm gonna use, I have a couple more skeins of the New Beginnings, and so I'm gonna continue with that, and I'm not gonna use, the way the pattern is written, it's every section is a different color of yarn, and I don't wanna do that. So I don't mind having a few different colors in there, but I don't wanna have 7 different colors. So, and the colors all flow together, so it's not like it's all these, you know, crazy colors, but I just decided I wanted to stick with something more plain. And I might give this as a gift at Christmas time. I don't know, it really depends. I'm selfishly keep saying, well, keep it for yourself, but may use it as a Christmas gift. So I know my sister likes blankets, and might give it to her, but we'll see. So, but I will have that done by the end of the year. So I'm catching up, and it's actually easy to knit on. You can just kind of sit and do TV knitting. I mean, there's patterns, so I do have to look at the pattern because it's a different stitch every section, but it's not hard. So once you've done a couple of rows back and forth, you can usually kind of memorize it, and you're good to go. But that's that blanket. So, and really, really liking that. So another WIP that I have is another pair of socks. And these actually also are, I started Christmas in July, but knew that I wouldn't finish these. This is another colorway by Ruby and Roses yarn. So Addison from Ruby and Roses. And this one is Christmas in the City. So this was one of her colorways from, I want to say 2020. I think it's 2020 that I got this yarn. Maybe 2021, but it's Christmas in the City. It's 2020. And the pattern is the Kia socks. So it's a cute stitch pattern. And this, I think, is a 6 round, actually this is a 8 round repeat. and not hard, but it is quite a few rounds, and really love the texture. Again, just a little bit of texture, not anything super difficult, but it gives a sock a little bit of texture. And again, like the color in this. Don't know that I'll have these finished by the end of August, but we'll definitely have them finished before Christmas comes. So I'll be able to wear those with my boots. So super excited about that. And let me take a sip of I just have fizz. I'm drinking today, fizz and my collagen. And my Yo Yarn Girl mug. I got a Yo Yarn Girl mug designed, so really like that. And I may have some of these coming, so I might get some of these that I'll use as gifts, and this may be coming to a shop. Talk more a little bit about that towards the end. So another one of my WIPS is going to be it's another blanket. I finally started a scrappy blanket. I have lots of minis, and I do advents every year. And I did make the cowl, round and round cowl by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. I made the round and round cowl with some of my minis that I had from 2019 advents. And then after that, I've been getting them, and I've made a couple of scrappy socks, but nothing where I have used a ton of my minis. They end up being like heels, toes, and cuffs and socks and things like that. But I've been wanting to start a blanket, and of course, a lot of people have done lots of different blankets. I think the Cozy Memories is a big one out there that a lot of people have done. I think even Kay does that on Sundays for her Scrappy Sunday knitting. But I found this one that I really just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it caught my eye on Ravelry. And it is called Lily's Scrap Blanket, and it's free. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. But for whatever reason, it just caught my eye. Really like it. And it's by Jennifer Peck, and I'm using up my minis in it, and it's really bringing me a lot of joy. You know, your knitting, for me, my knitting needs to bring me joy. If it doesn't bring me joy, it ends up just getting put in a corner. And a lot of that sometimes for me is color. I'm a purple girl, and purple, pinks, wine colors, that family. And so a lot of times for me, it's if the color is not, you know, aesthetically pleasing to me, I put it aside. Doesn't mean I won't go back to it, but a lot of times I put it aside, and I find that hard for me to knit on. And I just believe in my knitting bringing me joy. So if it's not bringing me joy, then I'll put it aside, and I'll start to work on something else. But I digressed. So back to the blanket. This is, I've just really started it. I'm not that far, but this is the start of the blanket. So I so far have 3 different colors in here, and the darker gray is actually a full skein of yarn that I got from Legacy Fiber Arts that I was going to use for a Stephen West pattern, one of his cows, and I ended up not using it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that in this blanket, and I'll probably use it in between some of the rows. So I will, like, if I'm going to change to a different color palette, then I might use the gray just to kind of break it up and start out with that new color palette. It's really just a 2-row repeat. Again, super easy. TV knitting for sure. I think right now for me, the hardest part was the cast on, because you're casting on 240 stitches. Well, you're casting on, the cast on is 3, and then you're doing a, it's a, oh, I drew a blank. I'm gonna have to look at the pattern because you're doing a I-cord. Sorry about that. It's been a while. It's been a while for podcasting. So it's an I-cord cast on. So those I-cords just take a long time, but I hesitated. I wasn't going to do the I-cord cast on, but then I thought, you know, I really like the way an I-cord cast on looks. So I decided to go ahead and do that. And I'm really happy that I did it, because I think if I had just cast it on and started knitting, I wouldn't have been as pleased with it. So it is an I-cord cast on, and that did take a while. But once I got through that and picked up the stitches, you pick up a couple extra stitches and you end up with like 246 stitches. So it does take a while to get back, you know, across the rows, but it's a 2-row repeat, easy. 1 row's just knits. So it's not hard for that one. And again, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, so I'm not giving anything away. But again, it's just a fun knit, and it's definitely bringing me joy. So super excited about this one, and can't wait to start adding colors. Just in the 3 colors that I have in there so far, it's like, okay, I can't wait to get to the next color. So I'm finding myself knitting on this one a lot. Just so I can get to the next color. So like I said, we'll see what happens, but I'm really excited about how this turns out. And I know this is definitely going to be probably for me, but I do want to make my mom a scrappy blanket. She watches a lot of TV during the day, and you know, she I think would appreciate having a blanket that she can put on her lap and just kind of keep her warm. So, and you know, while she's doing that, I'm sure would bring her joy to know that this was something that Lisa made. She's my mother's crafty, so she understands she knows about crafty things and appreciates crafty, things, whether it's sewn, knitted, crocheted. Her mom and her aunt, my great aunt, were big time crocheters, and I actually have a bedspread that my great aunt crocheted for me. And so I think that my mom would appreciate something like this. So I'm thinking about starting a second one, and it would be for her. So don't know when you're going to get it, Mom. She talks about my projects and, like, well, what are you finishing, Lisa Marie? So, but really excited about this. So, and I think that is probably all I have for WIPS. And so we will go into dream knitting. So my first item that I want to, that's on my list for dream knitting, and that is the Salty Air Tea by Samantha Guerin. And not sure on the yarn that I'm going to use. The Knit with Kim and Jonna podcast, I'm actually involved in a cowl, which I won't finish, but they did a cowl with Isabel Kramer and, Isabel Kramer Patterns. It was a MYAK is actually who sponsored it, I believe. And I'm doing the Dingley Dell, which is part of my Make 9, and haven't really gotten any far on that. So I'm not going to show it because I have, I think, just the cast on a couple of rows. But anyways, Kim Jonna is she's done a couple of the Salty Air Teas, and they're beautiful. I mean, I fell in love with them the minute the last podcast they did, she's wearing one, and then she did one in a blue color. Blue's not even really a color that I gravitate to, but that blue just looks darling. So I'm definitely wanting to do that one, and I'll insert a picture of that pattern, but may do it. She did it in Purl Soho's linen quill, and I really like that. But I have so much stash. I really need to try and find something that's going to be comparable in my stash that I like the way it knits up and the way the fabric feels. So that's my goal, is to find something from my stash that I can do the Salty Air Tea with, and I will put that on the needles. I am going to get some of my stuff, some of the stuff off the needles before I do it, and I do want to get my Dingley Dale done before I cast on the Salty Air Tea. Another item that I just came across, and I don't even remember where I saw it. I'm sure it was on a podcast, but it's the Mazzoni vest. It's by Lindsay Degan, and it's definitely something that you could use for your advents. So I'm planning on using, so it won't be something I put on my needles right away, but I'm hoping with my 2022 advents, I'm going to use some of those with it. And it's kind of like a zigzag. It's a chevron pattern, and it's a vest that you can wear. So, I will have to really think about my colors because I will want to wear it. And I actually think I want to wear it for work. So I will have to be, I'm going to have to make sure that my color palette is not something that's just too crazy. But yeah, I'm super excited to get that on the needles with my advents. So that is that's a dream knitting, but it's going to be for my advents for my 2022. I think I've ordered 3 advents and I'm trying to resist. I'm trying really hard to not order any more advents. As much as I love a lot of the dyers out there and their advents and I like their yarn, I've got to reel that back. So I'm going to try to limit it to what I have right now. So that is another dream knitting project that I'm thinking about, and I will insert a picture of that. And then my last item on my dream knitting is the Twisted Tea shorts by Brianna Lapino. And Nitty Natty knit these shorts and they were so cute. And I know we're going into cooler weather, but we keep our house fairly warm. It's not hot, but we do keep it fairly warm. And I spend a lot of time up in the loft or in my office, and it's a little bit warmer. So I could see myself wearing those around in the winter, either when I'm just home or when I come in from work or before I go to work. So I'm really looking forward to knitting up those shorts and go from there. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So we shall see. But that's it for me for dream knitting. And I think that is all really the knitting stuff. I am not going to go into acquisitions this episode just because I did want to get something out there, and I've got lots of acquisitions and it would take up a ton of time. So I don't want to do that, but I am going to talk about some things that are coming for Yo Yarn Girl. And I've talked about it before that, you know, my husband and I were looking at a shop. It probably won't be our own website right away, but eventually we will go to that. We've been fortunate enough to have a bag maker make us some bags, and she has put the Yo Yarn Girl name on there for us. But we will have these coming your way soon. And if you follow me on Instagram, I will post more on Instagram as things start to roll out. But it's just a really nice canvas bag, and it's got the Yo Yarn Girl on there. It's a drawstring bag. The first few that we put up in the shop are going to also have a progress keeper that is a Yo Yarn Girl progress keeper. So just, you know, again, something that I use project bags. I know a lot of you use project bags. It's really well made. It's got 2 pockets on the inside. So you've got pockets that you can either put your cell phone or your needles or whatever you want to put in it. But right now we just have 2 colors. So it's going to be this yellow, and of course it just wouldn't be right if we didn't have purple. So we've got a purple, and the purple, it's the same construction, 2 pockets on the inside. And we have large and medium bags that we will initially be rolling out, but may do some smalls and may do some extra large. So look for those to be coming soon. And, you know, again, do me a favor, comment below. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in, if you think that you would use a bag like that. I'm really, you know, interested in getting your feedback on that. But those are some things that we've got coming. So super excited about that. And we will see where it goes. But Yo Yarn Girl is growing, and I'm super excited to be here. Again, thank you for coming back, for those of you that have been watching me, and welcome to all the new viewers. Please give me a thumbs up, a like, subscribe to the channel. It just helps me out and it doesn't cost you anything. But I hope to keep bringing you content at least once a month. I don't plan to be gone as long as I was this time. But again, thank you for putting up with me and being patient for me to get out another podcast. But until next time, happy knitting.